Hi everyone, Jane here. Thank you so much for watching today. Excuse my big pile, we have just come back from holiday, and when we go on holiday I always take the opportunity to visit different craft shops. Here on the Isle of Wight, where I live in the UK, we do not have hardly any art or craft shops left at all. The only one probably that still sells a range of stuff is ironically the range. All our small independent shops have just gradually closed, and I did used to like to support them. Unfortunately it just wasn't sustainable in this day and age, so the only way really to get art and craft supplies on the Isle of Wight is to order them online. Of course we can go across to the mainland, but our ferries are very expensive, so it's not really worth travelling over just to get art supplies. So what we tend to do, well, I say we, what I tend to do is whenever we're going on holiday, I just take a little look at what might be on the journey to or from our destination within the UK, and I plan a little pit stop. So that is what I did this time, as well as knowing that we were going to the Lake District, which is Cumbria in the UK, and which is where the lovely people Derwent are based. So they have a museum. You can't go around the factory, but there's a museum. It's not the biggest museum, and what I will do is at the end of this video I will slip in a little clip of in the museum. I don't like filming when there's people around because I do feel very awkward filming other people. I don't really want to put them in my video, so I did a tiny bit of film just so you can see a little tiny bit, but I have got photos of some of the displays that they had in there, and so I'll pop those on at the end of this video if you're interested. Like I say, it's a small museum. We were there for, I'd say, roughly about an hour. To be honest, I had a list of what I wanted to buy in the shop, so I didn't even take an awful long time there because I knew exactly what I wanted. We went quite early on in the day, so I think we missed the main crowds. By the time we were leaving, there was quite a queue. And it is the sort of place that once it gets busy, it is going to feel quite packed because it's not the biggest of spaces, but it is incredibly interesting, and they give you a quiz to do as you go around. There's like a colouring area, so I took advantage of that to try some pencils out. But the information about things to do with World War II and the factory and the history of graphite and the history of pencil making was actually really interesting, and having that quiz really made you read and look a lot more than you would. So without further ado, I will go through some of the different things I bought. I've left all my Derwent things in the Derwent bag. I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to put these things aside. This is on the way back. We made a pit stop at the Crafters Companion shop in Evesham, which is in the middle of the UK, in the Midlands. I have never been to their shop. They only have one shop, one actual physical retail shop now. Obviously they do still do a lot online, and it was quite nice to go there. It's in a beautiful valley shopping centre. But the first thing I actually bought was on the way. We stopped at Hobbycraft, which is a big chain of hobby stores in the UK. Every time I visit Hobbycraft within the last few years, I never tend to buy an awful lot anymore, and I think because I have really zoned in on the sort of art and craft that I want to do, and Hobbycraft is very much a very wide-ranging hobby store in that it has a lot of different hobbies and crafts that it's catering for, which is, you know, is lovely if you have lots of different hobbies that you're interested in, or you have a specific hobby. So like if you'd like to do wooden model making, you could go in there and find something. Unfortunately, what that often means, I think, for these stores is that they become very split, and the areas that I'm interested, for example, I mean, if I'm interested in pencils or paints, are very small sections of that store. So I don't often find a lot that I want to buy, and then especially if you're interested in stamping and inks, it really, the selection of that is very, very low indeed. But whilst I was in there on our way, we stopped in the one at Blackpool, because that was near to where we was going. They had the Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils. Now, I really don't need any more pencils. I really don't. But these were such a low price in terms of pencils, and I'm sure they are not the top quality ones like the polychromos or anything like that. But I've seen Denise Love, and I will link her channel below. use these in a lot of her mixed media work, and I thought these would be fun just for using as bold colours and accents within my mixed media pieces. So I did get this set. Now I looked at the smaller set in the tin, and in the end it actually was not much more for me to get this 50 edition. It's like a it opens out. How do I, oh no, that's, oh yeah, oh no, that is the way you do it. You sort of, you get it out and it opens like this. I'm just gonna have to stand up and just check I've got this in the right place, which I have. So it opens like this. Apparently they're nice and bold. I'm not, you know, I'm not expecting miracles from them. I just want them for a bit of fun. I think they were about, I'm no good at remembering prices because, you know, when I do this sort of thing, when I go on holiday, I literally, it's for fun, and it's, you know, I'm not going to start worrying about that. But I think they were under £20 for a set of 50. So, you know, they're not like top quality pencils, but they're fun. And I probably won't be keeping them in that thing. I'll be putting them in a pot amongst all my other pencils. So that was my first crafty purchase of the whole trip. So I'll put that aside. I'll show these next, because whilst we were when we go on holiday, we try to mix up. We generally go to places where there's a lot of beautiful walks. We do love walking out in nature. So the Lake District is just stunning, absolutely stunning. And I will do another video where I put in some little clips of some of the places we walked in, and then maybe do something mixed media-y to reflect what we saw, because it is beautiful. So we went on 3 major walks, one to a waterfall, one in the countryside where we visited a cave, and it was just beautiful through the main countryside, and then we did one around one of the smaller lakes. So we did 3 main walks, but we also like to go and do a bit of history. So we went to visit Ray Castle, which isn't technically a castle, it's a folly, but because it was built in Victorian times in the style of a castle. Unfortunately that wasn't open, but we could still go around the grounds. And then we also visited Sizer House, which is a medieval house in near Kendal, and that was beautiful as well. So we did a little bit of history, and then we also like to go and visit some of the smaller towns. So when we was visiting the smaller towns, we went to Ambleside, we went to Keswick, we went to Windermere, and we went to Kendal. So in those places they had some really nice independent shops, and I actually bought a couple of books because I have already got, by this author, I've already got Painting Calm, and because I was painting lots of landscapes while I was there, I thought I'd get this book. Now I find the ones from this Leaping Hair Press, these style books, I know Katie Moody's got hers with these, they're not the most full of information. There's a lot of artwork, and there's a lot of pages where there's sometimes not an awful lot going on the page, but for me it's beautiful and aesthetic, and it gives me a little bit of inspiration. I've used these more as an inspiration, I would say, rather than a tutorial book, is I guess what I'm saying. So I got this one in Ambleside in a lovely little independent shop. I also bought a fridge magnet, because we always have to have a fridge magnet, and that's now already on the fridge. And this one, which is by the same press, Leaping Hair Press, but it's by a different author. So this one's Inga Buividavice. I'm probably totally saying that name wrong, so I apologise. But this one is by Terry Runyon, and I've since found her on Instagram. I think she's on YouTube as well, I'm not sure. And this one was really up my street. This is Painting Happiness, Creativity with Watercolours, and this one is just a really fun one, and I just thought I would love to try some of the things but mostly it is just full of the most fun art and images. Again, look, I mean, it's a lot of images, a tiny little bit of writing. It's not a tutorial book as such, I would say. A fantastic prompts list if you want prompts, but I just thought it's such a fun book, and the illustrations in this just made me smile, and it's about having fun with watercolours, which is what I'm all about. And whilst I was there, oh, this was in the same shop, oops, sorry, just hit you there. No, it wasn't. This was in another independent shop. It was a little book slash coffee slash wine bar shop. And she had these bookmarks that were painted by a local artist. So this one is somebody who was wild swimming in one of the lakes. So that's the Lake District in the background, and then one of the countryside. So I got a couple of those so that I could have them within my book. So that was the 2 books that I bought while I was there. And let's go to this one. This was just a little thing I bought in Cockermouth. Oh, we also went to Cockermouth. I forgot about that. That was another little town we went to. Shopping local, supporting local traders, bought in Cockermouth. And this was a little art shop in Cockermouth. And it was an actual art shop. It was a tiny little shop. But I have to say, she had crammed quite a lot in there. And when we first went past, it was actually closed for lunch. So British. But on the way back to the car, it was open. So I said, I will just pop in there. I wasn't going to, but then I went, oh, I'm here now. I'm going to pop in. And the last time we went on holiday last year to Wales, I went to a little independent art shop and I bought, some of you may remember, it will be on a video of the craft supplies I bought then, or the art supplies I bought then. I bought a little set of Unison pastels, and while I was in here, it must be a thing of little independent shops, they had some Unison pastels, and she had the beautiful drawers, you know, that you pull out, and they have the individual ones, but I wanted to get a set, and so I did buy a set of Unison half sticks, and she had all the different season ones as well as like colour families, and I went in the end for the autumn. I was going to go for one that had more brighter greens, and I thought, no, actually, I do like these more muted greens. And then I thought as well, I've got the autumn iridori gouache from Holbein, and these then would sort of be more in connection with that. And I just think the box is absolutely beautiful. So it's got this magnetic closure bit. So it's a nicer box than the one I got last year. And there's my 8 half stick of Unison colour. So I think this may now be a theme that every time I go on holiday I have to go in an art shop and buy a set of 8 Unison pastels. Whether they'll get used that much is another matter. But I just also love to support these smaller shops as well, and British companies, and it is a British brand. I just think it's really nice if you can. You know, obviously we can't always afford to do these things, but I had sort of planned that I would have money to spend on these sorts of things, so I didn't worry about it. And I just like supporting a little shop and a British company, and it's beautiful. Look at that, it's absolutely beautiful. So that was Cockermouth, which actually we went to after the lovely Derwent Pencil Museum. And I had to have a bag because I thought I want the bag. So there's the Derwent Pencil Museum bag. Let me zoom. Oh, just about. There you go. And I did, like I say, I had a list. I had a list of pencils. Before I went, I'll just grab it. This is my Inktense pencil roll. You probably would have seen it in lots of videos. And I have the 24 set. So you can see I do use my Inktense. Some of them not as much as others, but I have the 24 set, and I figured I could get, these are usually a 36 roll. So I know some of these you fit more than one in these. So I figured I could get another 12 pencils. So I looked on the Derwent website and I went through what colours I had and what colours I thought I would like to have, and that's how I chose my my colours. I also then I had to look back at my own videos to see what drawing pencil colours I had. Luckily I had done videos with them, and I also chose a few more drawing pencils just to round out my collection a bit more, because I think I've got about 30, I think I counted 37 or 38 of the drawing pencils, and now there is a 72. Now I'll start with the things that aren't art supplies first, because when you're in, you're in the shop, you have to get yourself something that is a memento. So I loved this cup. It's got the Derwent Pencil Museum on the side there, and it just goes around with all the different colours around to there, and I just thought that'd be lovely to go on my desk. And then to go with that, I got myself a little pencil coaster as well. So that I already have a coaster on my desk. So I thought, well, that can go replace that one. So that can go over there. So that's my pencil and my pencil mug and my pencil coaster. And also, like I said, we like to collect, well, I say we, it's mostly me, collect fridge magnets. They go on our fridge, and I had one that was a General Lake District one, but I did see this one. I did take a photo of this. It's outside the front of the, sort of the front, but the back of the museum. So I did take a photo of that as well. And so I thought I'd get this to go on our fridge. I can take it out the packet now, because when I go back downstairs, I can put it on the fridge. And there we go. So Derwent Pencil Museum. So that's those 3 things that were not art supplies. I got one of these, another one of these. I've already got 2 of these chisel-ended ones, but they were a little bit cheaper in the shop for the museum. So I think I paid £8 or maybe even more pounds for a single one of these. It was £6. You can get them cheaper when they're on sale at different places, but I was there, and it is my most used travel water brush that I use, is this chisel. Let me get up to here. So the chisel end like that one. So that I thought I would get. I have been looking at these things for ages, pencil extenders. I don't know if I'll ever get a small enough pencil to fit in one, but I've always thought I should have them just in case I need them. So I got a set of those, because whilst you're in the shop, I know it does sort of, it tempts you a bit more, doesn't it? And I had been wanting to try the Graphitints, so I found, well, I didn't find, it was for sale, the set of, so I got the set of 12. I haven't undone them yet at all, of Graphitint. So I'm not going to try out any of these supplies in this video. What I will do is I will make separate videos where I'm using them, probably within a project. And oh, these 2 pens we got as a prize for completing our quiz. So when you completed the quiz, you handed it in and you got a pen, and it was me and my oldest son did the quiz together, so she made sure she gave us 2 different colours. My youngest son put his in separately. He got another yellow one, so I've let him keep his. If it had got a different colour, I'd have said I'll have that one as well. But so I've got a yellow 0.3 and a green 0.3, and they are the Derwent line markers. So I didn't buy them, they were a prize. And also as a ticket, when you go in, you get a Derwent Pencil Museum HB pencil. So instead of giving you a ticket, they give you a pencil, and this you can use then to do your quiz. So I've got 3 of those. One of no, I've got 2. I gave 2 to my youngest son, and I've kept 2. And then the final part, let's put these to that side and these to that side, is my actual pencils. Now they had the pencils open stock. There was to be fair, they had a really good stock of most of the open stock pencils. You could get, that was me trying some out there. You could buy the sets, but I wanted sort of individual colours. So I got a selection, like I say, I got 12 of the Inktense, and then let me see how many Derwent drawings did I get? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 8 of the Derwent drawings. So the Derwent drawing, I chose grape, I think distant green. I debated that. I'm not sure about that one, but I got it because my husband said, "You're here now, get it." Violet dusk, forest, which is the really, really dark green, oyster, slate violet, dusky pink. Is it dusky pink or dusty? Dusky, and Arctic. So I went for some of the really dark darks and some of the really light lights, because I think that's where I felt that I was missing the range of values within my pencils. And then these are my 12 Inktense. Now the only one I wanted that I couldn't get, there was a golden yellow, and they had none of that one left, so I got sienna gold instead because it seemed the most similar to what I wanted. So I got sienna gold, Payne's grey, thistle. You'll see a purple theme, and I think it's because the set that I had of 24 was very lacking on pinks and purples. Oak, carmine pink, cadmium orange, iron green, again another very dark green, Green aquamarine, that rhymes, that's nice, isn't it? Deep rose, mauve, another very dark purple. Oh, there was a theme going on with the colours I was choosing. Dark mink, because I saw somebody using dark mink on something and I thought, oh, that's a really nice shadow colour, because I tend to use either the charcoal grey, the indigo, the deep indigo, or the bark for shadows, and I thought that might be a really nice shadow, you know, around the collaged images. And dusky purple, I'm having a dusky theme as well, so like you can see, I chose a fair few pinky purples there, didn't I? So those were all the things that I bought from Derwent. So that was lovely. It was a really nice visit. Like I say, it's not the biggest place. It's, you know, you're not going to spend hours and hours looking around the museum. And because it is quite small, it does get quite packed quite quickly, is what I would say. It did also have a cafe. We didn't use the cafe because we was, what was we doing? I think we was going for lunch somewhere. So my final place was to go to the Crafters Companion shop in Evesham. So to drive from, we were on the Isle of Wight, so we got the ferry across to Portsmouth. So from Portsmouth to where we were staying in the Lake District, I think was about a 6.5 hour drive if you just did it all in one go. We never do that. we never do anything in one go. We always look for places along the way, because it when we're off the island, we've had to pay to get off of this island. If you talk to any people from the Isle of Wight, you know, you could get into a long discussion about our ferries. But when we're off and we've paid for that ferry, we want to make the most of every minute we have got on the mainland. And also because it's a long, long drive, so we want to break it up. So when we went, we stopped at Stonehenge. It was the earlier, it was like, when we stopped, it was still dark because we went very, very early in the morning. And we stayed in the car, had a little snooze for a little while until the sun started to come up, and then we walked up to Stonehenge. We didn't pay we didn't pay to go to Stonehenge. We walked up to, you can walk up to it and see it and get quite close to it even without going in the actual place, because it wouldn't have been open. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning. So we walked up to there, and then we carried on a journey. We stopped at, like I said, Hobbycraft at Birmingham, and then we carried on and went to where we were staying because we couldn't check in until 4 o'clock in the afternoon anyway. And so coming back, we did, like, similar in that we drove down to Evesham, which was about a 4-hour drive, and we stopped at the Valley. I want to say it's called the Valley Country Park. To be honest, it was really nice. We were quite late in the day. It was about 3:30, so it was like winding down kind of time. But there's lots of shops there, and a little fairground rides, a little railway thing. It's a really nice place. So if anybody in the UK is ever nearby and wants to and thinks, oh, I'd like to go to the Crafters Companion shop, but you know, what else is there to do? It's quite a nice little site. We went in Crafters Companion, and to be totally honest, I bought everything except Crafters Companion stuff because they've got a selection of other brands. So I didn't. I sort of went more for things that weren't Crafters Companion, I have to admit. Now, one of the things, they had a Hannelmuhle. No, so I think that was said it was $19.99, but it's $9.99. I think it's on sale. So this is the bamboo mixed media. I'll lift it like, I can't see whether you can see, so I apologise if you can't. This is 24 by 32 centimetres. So it's 90% bamboo fibre and 10% cotton rag. So it's a mix, it's a mixed media. And I thought, because I do everything in my journals, and I know that Denise Love often does some lovely pieces separately, and I thought this would be a fun surface to try. It's mixed media. It was $9.99. I mean, how many sheets is it? 25 sheets by 9.4 by 12.6 inches. So she often does like a 9 by 9 square, which I think is a nice size. And I thought that would be nice to do some things like that with, and try some of these different products. So I might do that for my video for Friday this week. So that was the first thing I bought. Now I stayed on a little bit of a Hannemuhle theme because I have been wanting, now this was $19.99, so this was more expensive. This is the watercolour book. Now this is the actual 100% cotton. Now I have a watercolour book from Hannemuhle which is not 100% cotton, and I use it, it's my journal that I take out with my travel kit. and I really do enjoy it, but it's you can tell it's not 100% cotton, so it was a lot cheaper than this one. But this one is a Deckle edge. Let's open it now, because I haven't opened it because I don't like to open things before my my haul video. And you will always see that I do my haul videos quite quick because I'm always desperate to open things. That's why I don't do that many haul videos, to be quite honest, because I buy things, I use them. Let's take, let me see, where's the bit? There it is. Take that off. So get the usual little thing. So yeah, so it's got like these deckled edges to the paper. So it's quite thick old paper. So it's it probably needs something to hold them. Did I just break the spine? It just lay quite flat. I always put clips anyway. It doesn't worry me. I'm not that fussed about it being totally flat all the time, to be honest. I work around it. So it's cold pressed, 250 GSM, which is £120, 60 pages. I'm going to guess that's front and back, so 30 sheets. With freehand. It says 3 as in the number 3. I think they mean free as in F-R-E-E hand. Freehand torn edges. I would be surprised if somebody's gone around and torn all those freehand, but how am I to question them? 100% cotton, watercolour, paper. I mean, I've got glasses on and I'm still struggling. It's so tiny. Ensures exceptional durability. All 60 pages of the book have surface sized homogeneous cold press surfaced to the front. Okay, so that was the other little Hannelmuhle I bought. So they've got a little bit of a Hannelmuhle section. Crafter's Companion are on the shopping channel Hobbymaker in the UK. I don't know if it's something you can get worldwide or not. And I think what they're doing is they have like a few of the brands that are also on Hobbymaker now sort of in their store to support each other. It also gives them a bit more interest within the shop. Now, one of the first things I saw when I walked in the shop was this. Now, I have looked at this die set previously online and it has really always appealed to me because let's just take it out of the plastic, otherwise you're going to get the glare. Now, how much was this one? £14.99. Like I say, when I'm doing this sort of thing, I'm not even really thinking about the prices, which is quite bad. But I'm just trying to enjoy the moment. So this one is a Sizzix Thinlit. It's by Tim Holtz. I've looked at this before because you may have seen in a number of my projects. I love things with film strips and film like Polaroids, and this is, I think, is it like the ones that go in the projectors that go around? I'm not sure about all these little ones that you get. I can't quite see the point unless they cut out the middle of bits. I'm not sure. And it's one I've looked at in the past, so I thought it's there right in front of me. Let's just get it. Oh, look. Could it be in any more packaging? So you get, see, that's what I don't understand, is that I thought maybe it didn't cut out the squares, but it does because it's got a raised edge. So it does cut out the middles, so I wasn't sure why you get the little individual ones as well. Unless it's just in case you want to make some to go in different colours at the same time. It might be. So I thought that would be a fun one. Maybe we'll include that in our thing on Friday, I'm not sure. So yeah, I think it's the one from Vault Picture Show. I know they brought, what they did recently was they took older die sets that Sizzix had brought out with Tim Holtz and they ran them, but in a different size. So it may be that it's like that, I'm not sure. Then the main thing I was actually looking for in Crafter's Companion was stencils. I didn't find at all the stencil I wanted. They didn't have a massive selection of stencils. I don't know whether stencils are not the in thing at the minute, but this one was in there. Visible Image, they are a UK company, and I saw this one and I just thought it was quite different to anything else I got. It's based on Bauhaus, which is it was an art movement, I think, in the, I want to say the 60s. I know when we watch a lot of antique shows, and often a lot of the furniture that's Bauhaus is 60s, but I'm sure it went for a much bigger period of time. I think it's German. But I just thought that was a little bit different to other stencils. When I buy stencils, I do now try to buy things that different. I looked at the stamps in store, and I looked at another few stencils, but I am drawn to a certain style, and I know that the things I was drawn to, I've already got similar, so I don't bother. So I went with this one because it was a bit different. And then I did see these. They were in a pack. This packet was shut, so but I opened it once I bought it to see what was, because you couldn't overly see what was in there, and it didn't clearly tell you. I worked it out, but it didn't overly tell you on the packaging. And these are rub-ons by 49 and Market. They had a little 49 and Market selection. Do love rub-ons, and I love their rub-ons. Their rub-ons are my kind of style. And if you look back on my videos, I do have videos where I've shown exactly how I use rub-ons, how sometimes I've used rub-ons for like a whole starting background for something, because they are, if you've got them in your stash, I bet you'd be like me. I had them in my stash from ages ago, and they just sat there. And they do eventually, I think, start to go off as in because they're like got a stickiness to them, haven't they? So eventually that adhesiveness will degrade. So, you know, use them up if you've got them. And you make fantastic backgrounds. It does mean you have to think about what you then put on top of them, because it is like a shiny surface. But, you know, they are fun. And now I got this set because I worked out that it was spring, summer, autumn, winter. And it's spring stories, summer stories. So I put them in order. I don't think they were in this order, but you get 2 sheets per pack. So those are the 2 in the spring, which I'm just loving. I mean, and it's spring, but it doesn't have to be spring, to be fair. In the UK, umbrellas, not at the moment, but umbrellas and wellies could mostly be any time of year. Not this year, but most years. Summer vibes, which is the sea. So I live near the sea. Nearly everywhere on the Isle of Wight is near the sea, so it is a big part of our lives. And then fall stories, fall, autumn, is just, you know, I love. Look, they called it fall stories, but then it says hello autumn under the autumn sky. That's interesting. Have they got any that say fall? Oh yeah, this is fall. So they've hedged the bets. But I mean, the colours are always just glorious, and I love these little sort of colour swatches. You get them, I think they're on all of them. They're on all of them. But I love the script and the words, and they just make lovely backgrounds. But also then you get these that are slightly more, you know, focal point bits as well, and sentiments. I think this is a fantastic set. And then finally winter stories, which of course you've got to have snowflakes. I associate winter with snowflakes, which is ironic because we very, very, very rarely get snow here. We always live with that little thing that we might one day get a little bit more snow. We have had snow, but we just don't. We're in the warmer part of the country, so we don't get much. So that, I do believe, was. Let me just try and pile it up. It probably won't all fit on here now, will it? Shall I make a Jenga tower? There we go. It's not all going to fit on here. Let's put these here as well. So I won't fit my books and everything, but it's just a selection of different things. I do try to get things that in the moment. So I have an idea. So like at Derwent, I knew what pencils specifically I want. Had an idea that I wanted to try the Graphitints. But I go in with an open mind, because I don't want to block off things that just because that wasn't in my mind that I'm not going to get. I want to go in there with fresh eyes and go, oh wow, that's something interesting that I wouldn't have thought. Like the rub-ons. I wasn't planning to buy rub-ons, but you know, they were there and they really appealed to me in that moment. The Hannelmuhle watercolour book and the bamboo paper, it wasn't in my mind that that's what I was going to get. They're things that I've thought about in the past. So if it's things I've thought about and then going, actually, it's there and it is what I would have bought, then I'll buy it in that moment, because I also think, even though Crafters Companion is a big company, Hobbycraft is a big company, sometimes buying in the store just helps keep that little bit of economy ticking over for retail. And I think if we can, and I say this as somebody who lives in a place where we truly can't really buy things in the shops, which is quite sad for us. But if you have got a local shop, you will probably pay a bit more. I mean, it's just a fact, isn't it? It's the way it goes. They're paying overheads, they're paying staff. So if I can, I do try, because I do want to keep those retail stores going, because it's lovely to just go in and see the products and feel the products and have, oh, excuse me, in the Crafters Companion store, they had a make and take table, and they had a workshop area. You know, a lot of these little shops, you go in, the people who work in them, the people who own them have so much knowledge, and they will often, like even in that tiny little art store where this was, she had a thing set up above the pastels where you could try, she had some out for you to try out. You know, you don't get that when you buy online, but I totally understand why people buy online. I buy online a lot, because, you know, it's convenience, and also, you know, if you can't get to the shops, it's ideal, and also often price is a factor, and we've got to consider that in this day and age, because, you know, most people are struggling where their money's going to go, and, you know, we want to make the most of what we've got. Well, but I got a bit deep there. I hope that was an interesting arty crafty haul for you. Stick around if you want to see a little bit of the Derwent Pencil Museum. Like I say, I'll show you some of the other parts of the Lake District in another video. And I will use some of these things. I'm not sure which ones. Probably maybe the pastels, the bamboo paper, maybe some of the pencils, maybe some of the rub-ons even, in this week's Friday video. So I'm trying really hard to stick to doing Tuesdays and Fridays every week. Plus my members get an extra video every other week on a Sunday. But, you know, the way sometimes things don't work out. It's very, very hot. We are expecting our 5th heat wave of the year at the end of this week, the days I work. And so, you know, that really does drag you down with tiredness, and just, I mean, I think they said on something, once it gets over 28 degrees, your body genuinely just does slow down, because your body is just trying to keep you cool. So I will try my very best. But again, it is hot in this room. I've had to keep the window shut because the builders are here for next door's bathroom. It's about the 3rd week of this. And also the sun streams in the morning in this room, which is not brilliant for when you're sitting here, because it is quite boiling. So thank you very much for watching. I've lost my total track of thought now. I'll just wrap up. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please do give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit that hype button if you can. I know it's not always on all devices, I think, but if you can do it, it's really helpful. If you can leave a comment, that's fantastic. That all helps YouTube see that people are engaging, and it's all about engaging with your video, and they'll help promote it out a bit more and things like that. And if you are interested in becoming a member, there is information in the description box to click on. I will list what I bought in the description box below. I won't put links to anything, because most of these things I think you would need to search up for yourself for your area. And there is a list of my lovely super supporters, my YouTube members, at the end of the video, and a big extra thank you to them as always. So until the next time, happy arting and crafting, and stay safe and cool or warm depending on where you are, and I'll see you soon. Bye.